Hi friends, here's a 5-minute review of Chapter 5 of Salt, Sugar, Fat. Chapter 5 is called I Want to See a Lot of Body Bags. What? Wow, that's a pretty powerful title. What did they talk about in that chapter? They talked about the cola wars between Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, and Dr. Pepper, especially Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Do you remember years ago when Coca-Cola came out with a new recipe and they called it New Coke? Remember that?
Yes.
And people complained because they really liked Classic Coke, and that's why Classic Coke was called Classic Coke, because they had come out with New Coke. Well, Pepsi Cola was pretty excited that Coca-Cola started New Coke, because they ran with it and went, yeah, they needed to make it sweeter and better because they had to compete with us because we have the better taste. Do you remember when they used to have commercials about the taste test and taking the Pepsi Cola challenge to see which tastes better, Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola? I do. And in this chapter, they talked about, it really was quite the war between Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola. Representatives were calling all the fast food restaurants and regular restaurants trying to be the exclusive drink of that particular food chain. I remember my own family. We were Coca-Colas, and there were times that my family would go into a restaurant, and if they served Pepsi instead of Coke, we'd want to leave. And we actually ate at the fast food restaurants that were Coca-Cola restaurants instead of Pepsi Cola. And then eventually, I don't know what happened, but then we were like, meh, cola, whatever, whichever cola it is. If it's Pepsi or it's Coke, that's fine. Just give us a diet of whichever. But there was a time that even my family, we were pure. We were purists with our Coca-Cola.
But one of the things I found that was interesting was how they, from Pepsi Cola, actually liked having Coca-Cola in existence to be not an enemy, but to be able to fight against, and it actually increased their
sales.
Yes.
Yeah, they had better sales.
If Coke didn't exist, they would have hoped one would be established in order to give them a rival.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? But I do remember that. I remember the commercials.
And do you
Coke,
remember?
It's the real thing.
Do you remember what made it the New Coke?
What?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it that they used high fructose corn syrup instead of sugarcane sugar?
Oh, yeah, which is really addicting. So, yeah, it was something. And they really tried to make it like an experience, that you were going to have this wonderful experience if you were, I remember there was a commercial when I'd like to teach the world to sing.
Yes.
In
Hey,
harmony.
just hold your horses there.
Yeah?
No more copyright infringement.
I'd like to give
I'm
the
serious.
world
I'm turning it off.
All right. Well, anyway, if you remember those old commercials. And I remember there was one where like Mean Joe Green,
yes,
like a football player, he was mad and hot coming out of the locker room, and some kid throws him a Coke and he smiles.
No, hands it to him.
Oh,
he nicely hands it to him.
Hands it to him, and then he throws the kid his towel
or jersey or something, whatever it was.
Something. Yeah.
What about when Santa Claus got a Coke?
Yeah. They were really tugging on our emotions. And wasn't it Pepsi that had a little kid giggling with a bunch of puppies on him? And he was
do not
just
know.
So happy. I think that was a Pepsi commercial. But they were really, really tugging on our heartstrings.
What's better than babies with puppies?
Yeah.
And giggling.
Exactly. And giggling.
Okay.
Exactly. So anyway, it shared the story of the Coke Wars. and there was a gentleman who was really big into the Coke Wars, and it was his job to be one of the top dogs doing all these things. I got 1 minute left, just letting me know. We're at the airport. We've got to catch a flight.
Quit talking.
So anyway, the guy that really had Coca-Cola as number one and really shot him to the top, he started going to other countries trying to have Coca-Cola be the number one drink. And then he started going to countries where people didn't have enough money to buy food. And when he did that, he
His
all of a sudden
girlfriend-
got a conscience.
And his girlfriend told him, remember,
Go
that
ahead.
that there's so many better things you could be doing with your talents than trying to sell and addict a whole country that's never
Whole
had
world.
Coke before on Coke products.
Yeah, especially when they were barely being able to afford nutritious food, and then
Right.
have them get hooked on Coke products. So anyway, he
Started
came
a
up-
new business,
Yeah,
got
started,
investors.
got investors.
Don't tell them. Should you not tell them what? Don't be a
What-
spoiler, or are you going to
Oh.
tell them what it is?
All right.
If you haven't
You
read
gotta
the chapter,
read the chapter.
you got to read
but
it.
he did something that was a health food that would make a health food be a really great snack.
If you haven't figured it out, think of it. Think of what your guess is, and then read the chapter.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really an interesting chapter, and
I
I
don't wanna
remember
miss the
when
plane,
that
Gina.
happened too, because
don't-
I started buying it for my kids
Yep.
as well. That special healthy snack.
All right.
you guys, I do have to go. I know this is a book club, and we usually do lots of discussion with a live, and I just can't today because we were supposed to be on this airplane flight yesterday, and it got canceled, and so now we're having to fly today instead of being able to do the book
So
club
we're
today.
hoping that they
So-
cancel our boarding passes because we're not in line.
All right.
Let's go, Gina.
I gotta go.
Say goodbye.
But do know, put your comments of your thoughts about the chapter in the comments, and I promise I will respond to them. And we'll just do the discussion in the comments today. All right, everybody, hold on to your anchor moments and make it a great day. Oh, and tomorrow we're gonna have a special Manjaro Monday live. I'm gonna have Mindy and Barb on from the cruise, and it's gonna be super fun.
You're killing
All
me.
right, everybody. I really got to go. Hold on to your anchor moments and make it a great day. Bye-bye.